Okay, so we're looking at a situation with people that are allergic to cats here. So if we've got people that are allergic to cats and they will test positive 80% of the time. So that means that some people are not going to test positive even if they are allergic to cats. So it says, however, people without a cat allergy are going to test positive 10% of the time. So we call those a false positive, where you don't have an allergy, but you're still going to test positive. This came out to light in the media with COVID tests in the past. So if 10,000 people were tested, how many people would we expect to have an allergy to cats? So we're saying 10% of the population because of that very first sentence right there, making it 1,000 people being allergic to cats. Part B says of those people that are allergic to cats, so we take that 1,000 and we're putting it right here, how many will receive a correct positive test? So if it said false positive test, we would use something else. So the correct positive test, again, 80% of the time, 800 of those people will have a correct positive test. And then it says of those people who have an allergy to cats, we're taking that 1,000 again, sliding it right here. How many will receive an incorrect negative test? So incorrect negative, that means they were supposed to test positive. If it's correct 80% of the time, that means 20% of the time it's not correct, giving you a situation where 200 people will have an incorrect negative test. So they're like, oh, I'm not allergic to cats, but you actually are. Next one here. Of those who do not have an allergy to cats, so if 1,000 people are allergic, that means that 9,000 people are not allergic to cats. How many will receive an incorrect positive test? So that 10%, again, incorrect positive, that's called a false positive. And that was told at the top that will happen 10% of the time, giving you 10% of 9,000 being 900. And then lastly here, of those who do not have an allergy to cats, so still 9,000 right there, how many will receive a correct negative test? If we know that 900 received an incorrect negative test, we can just subtract 900 from the 9,000 and get 8,100. You could have also multiplied by, you could have done a multiplication there, but this also works as well. Now we're just going to dump all those into the table. And the recommendation is that you start with the total here. So again, those totals, we said there's 10,000 people total, and then I like to work my way up. So 10,000 people total. And then we said that 1,000 have an allergy and 9,000 don't. And we actually figured out these totals here. So I'm just kind of plugging them in from A, B, C, D, and E into the table. And then what was not found here were these totals. So those totals are what's going to come out of doing the table. Again, the 1,700 and 8,300 come from just adding straight down. 800 plus 900, 200 plus 8,100 to get 8,300. So from here, we have to make sure that we can work using probability. Again, the part over the whole is mostly, it's going to be like, most of the time, it's going to be something in the middle here divided by one of the totals. Okay. So just kind of keep that in mind. Or you could have one of these partial totals divided by the entire total. So just kind of consider that. So this says if someone receives a positive test result, so that means we're looking at the positive test results only, what is the probability of a false positive? So the false positive would be this 900 here, because they tested positive, but they do not have a cat allergy. So when you divide those numbers by the whole, you get 0.53. If someone receives a negative test result, so we're in the negative column here, what is the probability of a false negative? So if they're negative and they don't have an allergy, that is good. We want that to happen, okay? But what we don't want to happen is that false negative test, which would be the 200. So you would do the 200 divided by that total 8,300. That looks like, let's make that look like a 0. When you divide those numbers, you get 0.02. Next one down. If someone already has an allergy to cats, okay, so now we're looking at the cross, have an allergy to cats. What's the probability that this person will receive a positive test result? So we know that 1,000 people have it. 800 of them will receive a positive test result. So if we do 800 divided by 1,000, we get 0.8. And then lastly here, what is the probability of a person will receive a positive test result? So the number of people that received a positive test result total was 1,700, and we have a total of 10,000 people. So 1,700 divided by 10,000 would be 0.17.